The spa voucher sat on our granite kitchen counter like a bad joke. 15% off any basic treatment at Sweet Serenity Day Spa, valid Monday through Thursday, excluding holidays. An anniversary gift from my husband of 5 years. I'm Giselle, and until this moment, I thought I was living in a perfectly acceptable marriage. Not passionate, not terrible, just stable. The kind where you share a bed but rarely touch, where I love you becomes as routine as pass the salt. I'm a PR executive. I know all about maintaining appearances. Do you like it? Nathan's voice carried that familiar tone of distracted enthusiasm as he scrolled through his phone. I remembered you mentioned wanting to relax more. I picked up the voucher, studying the cheap paper and pixelated font. It's thoughtful. The word tasted bitter. Last year I'd spent 3 months tracking down a vintage watch he'd mentioned once in passing. Great! He finally looked up, flashing that smile that once made my heart skip. Oh, and babe, Damien and I finalised the dates for our boys' trip. We leave next Friday. I froze. Next Friday? That's our anniversary weekend. Oh, is it? He frowned, then shrugged. Sorry, love, the tickets were non-refundable. You understand, right? You can use your spa voucher that weekend. Treat yourself. I nodded, my face a mask of understanding. Of course. Where are you boys heading? Just a quick trip to Singapore. Business meetings, maybe some golf? He kissed my cheek, already heading upstairs. I need to shower before my conference call. I waited until I heard the water running before slipping into his home office. Nathan was meticulous about most things, but terrible at logging out of accounts. His email was still open on his desktop. 3 clicks later, my hands were shaking. There it was. Confirmation for 2 first-class tickets to the Maldives. A week-long stay at the Royal Ocean Villa at the Paradise Island Resort. The booking clearly showed 2 names, Nathan Evans and Ava Sutton. My phone buzzed. A text from Damien. Hey sis! Need Nathan's sizes for that golf gear we discussed. I typed back, Of course! So sweet of you to plan this trip for him. Thanks! Singapore's going to be epic. I smiled at my phone, a cold clarity washing over me. Damien didn't know I knew. Nathan didn't know I knew. And somewhere out there, this Ava person probably didn't know about me. The shower was still running upstairs. I carefully photographed the screen, making sure to capture every detail. The dates, the payment information from our joint account, the romantic add-ons he'd selected, the private beach dinner, the couple's massage. My phone buzzed again. This time it was an Instagram notification. Someone named Ava's Luxury Life had just posted a story. Pack with me for paradise. Han Cha's secrets coming. I clicked through to her profile. She was gorgeous, of course, 20-something, an influencer with perfectly filtered photos and inspirational quotes about living your best life. Her latest post showed her manicured hand holding a first-class ticket. The shower stopped. I quickly closed everything, positioning myself back in the kitchen just as Nathan came downstairs, hair wet, humming to himself. Hey, he said, grabbing his car keys. I might be late tonight. Don't wait up. No problem. I held up the spa voucher. I should call and book my relaxation session anyway. He grinned. That's my girl, always making the best of things. As the door closed behind him, I pulled out my phone and dialed a number I knew by heart. Olivia Quinn's office, a familiar voice answered. Liv, it's Giselle. Remember when you said if I ever needed a shark of a divorce lawyer, you'd be there? Oh, honey, my best friend's voice softened. What did he do? I need you to clear your lunch hour and bring whatever paperwork we need to freeze joint assets. I glanced at the spa voucher, then deliberately ripped it in half. Also, can you recommend a good locksmith? I'll do you one better. I'll bring one with me. Give me an hour. I hung up and walked to our bedroom mirror, studying my reflection. The woman staring back looked exactly the same as she had this morning. Same sleek dark hair, same composed expression. but something had shifted behind her eyes. "Happy anniversary to me," I whispered, and started making lists of everything I needed to do before next Friday. "You're being awfully sweet about this trip," Nathan said, watching me fold his designer shirts into his suitcase. "Most wives would be upset about missing their anniversary." I smoothed a wrinkle from his favourite blue shirt, the one he wore on special occasions. "Well, I'm not most wives." I placed it carefully in the suitcase, imagining him wearing it to his romantic dinner with Ava. "Besides, you and Damien deserve some brother time." "Exactly," he beamed. "It's just Singapore. Nothing exciting." I held up 2 ties. "The blue or the burgundy for your meetings?" "Both, maybe. Better safe than sorry." I nodded, adding them to the suitcase. "Smart. You never know what occasions might come up in Singapore." The lie rolled so easily off his tongue I almost admired his commitment. My phone buzzed. "Olivia, documents ready. Judge Thompson owes me a favour. 1 signature and those accounts freeze faster than your husband's heart." I texted back, "Not yet. Waiting for the perfect moment." "You're too calm about this," came her reply. "It's creeping me out." The truth was, I'd never felt more focused. Every morning I kissed Nathan goodbye. Every evening I asked about his day. And in between I orchestrated his downfall with the precision of a chess master. "Babe," Nathan called from the bathroom, "have you seen my passport?" "Top drawer of your desk," I answered, knowing exactly where it was because I'd photographed every page yesterday. "Don't forget your international adapter." The doorbell rang. Nathan was still upstairs when I opened it to find Olive, my sister, practically vibrating with anger. "I saw her Instagram," she hissed, stepping inside. "That boyfriend stealing by—" "Shh!" I pulled her into the kitchen. "Nathan's upstairs. Why are you still playing house with him?" She grabbed my shoulders. "This isn't you, Giselle. The sister I know would have set his car on fire by now." I gently removed her hands. "The sister you know also handles crisis management for Fortune 500 companies. Trust me, I have a plan." "Who's there?" Nathan called down. "Just Olive," I shouted back. "She's taking me to my spa appointment." "That's my girl, using that voucher." His voice dripped with self-satisfaction. Olive's eyes widened. "You're actually going to that cheap spa?" "Of course." I grabbed my purse. "I'm the perfect wife, remember? Now come on, you can tell me everything you've dug up about Ava on the way." At Sweet Serenity Spa, I sat through the most mediocre pedicure of my life while Olive showed me Ava's social media history. "She's been liking his posts for months," Olive muttered, scrolling. "Oh, here's a comment from 6 weeks ago. Can't wait for our next meeting. Disgusting. Forward everything to Olivia," I said, watching the technician apply a pale pink polish. "And what about the resort?" "Don White, the manager, seems decent, very professional Instagram presence, big on customer service and discretion." "Perfect." I checked my watch. "Time to make a call." I stepped outside, Olive hovering nearby as I dialed the resort's number. "Paradise Island Resort. This is Don speaking." "Hello, Don. My name is Giselle Evans. I believe my husband Nathan made a reservation for next week." A pause. "Yes, Mrs. Evans. A Royal Ocean villa for 2. "That's right. I'm calling because there seems to be some confusion. You see, I'm his wife, but I'm not the woman he's bringing." Another pause. "I see. I've emailed proof of our marriage and joint account statements showing he used our shared funds for this booking. I believe that raises some legal concerns?" "Indeed, Mrs. Evans. This is a serious matter. Would you like us to cancel the reservation?" "Oh, no," I smiled into the phone. "Let them arrive. Just make sure they understand why they can't check in." After hanging up, I turned to Olive. Her mouth hung open. "That was—" She shook her head. "I've never seen this side of you. There's more coming." I showed her my phone screen, a draft email to Nathan's company board regarding certain financial discrepancies I'd discovered. But first, I need to finish being the perfect wife. He leaves in 3 days, and I want him to remember how wonderfully supportive I was. "You're terrifying," Olive said, then hugged me tight. "I love it." That night, I helped Nathan pack his toiletries while he rambled about golf with Damien. Each lie he told was another nail in his coffin, but I just smiled and nodded. "You're the best," he said, kissing my forehead before bed. "I know," I replied, thinking of the first-class tickets that would lead him straight to paradise and then straight to hell. I stood in our driveway waving as Nathan's car disappeared around the corner. His last words still hung in the air. "Don't miss me too much." 20 minutes later, I was in Olivia's office, surrounded by legal documents. "Everything's ready," Olivia said, spreading papers across her desk. "The moment you say go, we freeze the accounts, file the divorce papers, and contact the IRS about those suspicious transfers I found." I checked my phone. Nathan's flight wouldn't leave for 3 hours. "Not yet. Let them get through security first." "You're evil," she grinned. "I love it. Now, watch this." She turned her laptop toward me, showing Ava's latest Instagram story. A boomerang of champagne glasses clinking in the airport lounge. The caption read, "Starting this journey with my soulmate." "Soulmate," I repeated, tasting the word. Let's see how that holds up when they're sleeping in a hostel. Right on cue, my phone rang. "Paradise Island Resort. This is Don." "Don, hello. Has our happy couple arrived?" "Not yet, Mrs. Evans, but we've prepared everything as discussed. Security has their photos and our front desk is ready. Would you like me to record their reaction?" "That won't be necessary," I said, though the thought was tempting. "Just make sure they understand exactly why they're being turned away." "Of course. And the press release you sent regarding potential social media coverage? Only if she posts anything first. We're taking the high road, Don." After hanging up, I turned to Olivia. "Time to make some calls." First was our bank. "Yes, I'm reporting suspicious activity on our joint accounts. My husband seems to have booked a romantic vacation with another woman." Next, the credit card companies. "I need to freeze these cards immediately. Yes, all of them." Finally, Nathan's family accountant, who'd always had a soft spot for me. "Hi, Robert. I hate to bother you, but I've noticed some irregular transactions." Olivia worked her own phone, her voice all business. "Yes, Your Honour, given the evidence of fund misappropriation and infidelity." My phone buzzed. A text from Damien. "Great weather for golf in Singapore." I forwarded it to Olivia, who actually snorted. "Does he think you're stupid?" "They all did," I said, pulling up the Paradise Island Resort's website. "Look, they've arrived." The resort's security cameras showed Nathan and Ava approaching the front desk, looking tanned and happy. Even from this distance, I could see he was wearing the blue shirt I'd packed. "Turn up the volume," Olivia whispered unnecessarily. Through the resort's security feed, we watched the scene unfold. The front desk manager's polite smile, Nathan's confident stance as he presented his ID, the gradual shift in his expression as the manager kept shaking his head. Ava's confused look turning to horror as words like fraud and legal investigation floated across the feed. "Sir, this booking has been flagged for investigation," the manager was saying. "Your wife, your legal wife, has provided documentation showing these funds were misappropriated from joint accounts." "My... what?" Ava's voice rose sharply. "You're married." Nathan reached for her arm. "Baby, I can explain..." She jerked away. "Don't baby me. Is this why we never went to your place? Why we only met at hotels? Security can direct you to nearby accommodations," the manager continued smoothly, "though I should mention your credit cards have also been declined." My phone lit up with notifications. Ava had gone straight to Instagram. "Can't believe I fell for a married man's lies. Warning to all women." "And there it is," Olivia said with satisfaction. "Should I release our statement now?" I nodded, watching as she posted the carefully worded message we'd prepared, taking time to heal and reflect as I move forward with grace. "Thank you for respecting my privacy during this difficult time." Within minutes, Ava had found my profile. Her DM popped up. "I swear I didn't know. He told me he was divorced." "Of course he did," I typed back. "Would you like to know what else he's been lying about?" Another notification. Nathan trying to access our joint account. Denied. Then our savings account. Denied. His credit cards, one after another, all denied. Giselle? Olivia's voice was gentle. Are you okay? I looked up from my phone, surprised to find my hand steady. You know what? I really am. My phone rang again, Olive this time, screaming, Have you seen Ava's Instagram? She's going nuclear. She's posting everything. Good, I said, watching the view counter climb on Ava's story. Let her. The truth was always part of the plan. Through the resort's feed, I watched Nathan and Ava arguing in the lobby, their paradise turning to chaos. He kept reaching for her. She kept backing away, their perfect getaway crumbling like a sandcastle at high tide. Happy anniversary, darling, I whispered, and finally let myself smile. The Family Bean Cafe hadn't changed since we were kids. Same worn leather booths, same coffee-stained menus, same judgmental look from Olive as I stirred my third sugar into my latte. You should have left him months ago, she said, sliding an old photo album across the table. Remember when I told you something felt off at Christmas? You tell me something feels off about everything, I replied, but opened the album anyway. Why did you bring this? Because, Olive leaned forward, I've been doing some digging. That thing with Nathan, it's genetic. The photos told a story I'd never noticed before. Family gatherings, holiday parties, business events, all featuring the Evans family in various combinations. But now, looking closer, I saw the patterns. Or, see this woman, Olive pointed to a blonde in the background of a Christmas party photo. That's Damien's secretary from 2019, the one who suddenly moved to Australia after getting a massive bonus. I squinted at the image. She's wearing George's emerald necklace. Bingo, and she wasn't the first. George has been cleaning up her son's messes for years. My phone buzzed. A WhatsApp message from Olivia, a photo of Nathan and Ava outside the resort, their faces a mixture of fury and disbelief as security stood firm. Calm as a bitch, Olive said, peeking at my screen. But we're not done yet. Look at this. She pulled out more photos, these from social media. Different women, different years, but always with either Nathan or Damien, always at luxury resorts or high-end restaurants. How did you find all this? I may have joined some warning other women Facebook groups, Olive smirked. Turns out the Evans boys have quite a reputation, but Georgia always handled the fallout. Money, NDAs, sudden job transfers. The waitress brought our food. I picked at my salad, my appetite gone. Why are you showing me this now? Because, Olive's voice softened, you're not just fighting Nathan, you're fighting a whole system, and I want you to be ready. My phone rang. The resort's number. Mrs. Evans. It was Avi, Don's assistant. I thought you'd want to know what happened after they left. I put the phone on speaker. Tell me everything. Mr. Evans tried to use 4 different credit cards. When they all declined, he called his mother. We could hear her screaming through the phone about family reputation. Then Miss Sutton started crying about her ruined Instagram partnership with us. Partnership, I interrupted. Yes, she'd arranged to promote our resort. That's how she got Mr. Evans to book this specific location. But now her followers know she was planning to promote a luxury resort with a married man, I finished. Interesting. After hanging up, I looked at Olive. Georgia's involved now. That complicates things. Actually, Olive pulled out her laptop. It simplifies them. Remember those financial documents you found? I had my friend in forensic accounting look at them. She turned the screen toward me. Spreadsheets, bank statements, transfer records, all showing a pattern of money moving between accounts. Georgia didn't just clean up their messes, Olive explained. She helped them hide money, lots of money, and not all of it was legally obtained. My phone buzzed again, a message from Damien. You think you've won, but you don't know everything, Giselle. I showed it to Olive, who laughed. He's right, we know way more than he thinks. Should we tell Olivia about the financial stuff? Already did. She's preparing subpoenas as we speak. Olive reached across the table, grabbing my hand. Listen, I know we haven't always been close, but watching you handle this, I'm proud to be your sister. Before I could respond, both our phones chimed. Ava had posted again, stranded in paradise with a liar, but don't worry, the full story is coming. Hope you're ready for the truth, Mrs. Evans. I looked at the threat, then at the financial documents on Olive's laptop, then at the old photos showing years of covered-up indiscretions. You know what? I said, finally taking a bite of my salad. I am ready for the truth. All of it. Let's see how the Evans family handles their perfect image being shattered. That's my sister, Olive grinned. Now, want to hear what I found about George's involvement in Damien's love child scandal? My phone lit up with another message, this time from Nathan. Please, can we talk about this? I'll explain everything. I showed it to Olive, who snorted. Sure, let him explain. Right after we explain to the IRS about those offshore accounts. For the first time since this started, I felt a real smile spread across my face. You know what they say about karma? She's not a bitch, Olive finished. She's just really good at paperwork. They're staying at the backpackers' hostel, Avi reported through my speakerphone, barely containing his amusement. Miss Sutton refused to share a dormitory room, so they're paying premium for a private room with a fan. A fan? Olivia snickered from her desk. Nathan doesn't even use non-Egyptian cotton sheets. The best part, Avi continued, was Miss Sutton's reaction when she realised her sponsored content contract was void. She threw her designer handbag at Mr. Evans. It hit him right in the face. I leaned back in my chair. How's he handling the situation? He's called his brother 6 times. Damien's not answering. He also tried booking other resorts, but apparently all his cards are showing as problematic. Imagine that, I said dryly. Any word from Georgia? She's been calling the resort non-stop, threatening legal action. Don told her she's welcome to explain to the authorities why she's defending fraudulent use of joint marital assets. My phone buzzed with a notification. Ava had gone live on Instagram, her mascara-streaked face filling the screen. And I just want to say to all my followers, always trust your instincts. If a man seems too good to be true, he probably is. And Giselle? She paused, wiping her eyes. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. He told me you were his crazy ex who wouldn't sign divorce papers. Should we respond? Olivia asked, watching the view account climb. No need. I showed her my carefully curated Instagram post from an hour ago. A simple photo of me at my desk, looking professional and composed with the caption, "Sometimes the strongest response is silence. Yash moving forward, harsh self-respect." The comments were flooding in. Queen behaviour. This is how you handle betrayal with class. Nathan and Damien are both trash. Olivia's assistant knocked and entered. The forensic accountant's report just came in. You're going to want to see this. The report detailed years of financial manipulation, hidden accounts, falsified business expenses, and, most importantly, George's signature on documents she definitely shouldn't have signed. This is better than we thought, Olivia said, scanning the pages. We're not just talking divorce settlement anymore. This is potential criminal charges. My phone rang again. Nathan. Should I answer? I asked. Olivia nodded, hitting record on her desk device. Hello, Nathan. Giselle, baby, please. His voice was ragged. This is insane. We can work this out. Like you worked things out with Sarah in 2018 or Jessica in 2019. I kept my voice calm. Or should we discuss the offshore accounts your mother helped you hide? Silence. How? How do you know about those? I know everything, Nathan. Every woman, every lie, every forged document. Did you really think I was just the docile wife who'd accept a discount spa voucher while you lived your best life? You're bluffing, but his voice shook. Ask your mother about the Thompson account. Ask Damien about his love child's trust fund. Ask yourself why the IRS just flagged all your business transactions for review. You'll destroy everything, he whispered. No, Nathan, you did that. I'm just making sure everyone knows the truth. I hung up as another notification popped up. Ava had posted again, just discovered my dream man has a history of scamming women. Screenshots incoming. In warning signs, toxic men. She works fast, Olivia commented. Hell hath no fury like an influencer scammed, I replied, watching Ava's story unfold with screenshots, photos and even videos of Nathan promising her the world. My office phone lit up. Mrs. Evans, there's a Georgia Evans here to see you. I looked at Olivia, who was already reaching for her recorder. Send her in. Georgia burst through the door, her perfect blonde hair slightly dishevelled. What have you done? I've done nothing, I said calmly. Your son's actions have finally caught up with them, and yours. You vindictive little... Careful, Olivia interrupted. Everything you say is being recorded, and given the evidence we have about your involvement in financial fraud, you might want to choose your next words very carefully. Georgia sank into a chair, her composure cracking. They're my sons. I was protecting them. No, I stood up, gathering my files. You were enabling them, and now everyone's going to pay the price. My phone chimed one final time. A message from Don. Mrs. Evans, Miss Sutton is demanding a refund for her ruined content creation opportunity. Should I direct her to your legal team? I smiled, thinking of Nathan in his hostel room, probably still wearing that blue shirt I'd packed so carefully. No, I typed back. Tell her to contact Georgia. I hear she's excellent at handling her son's messes. I want to show you something, Georgia said, her voice hollow as she placed a worn leather diary on my desk. We'd been sitting in silence for 10 minutes after her initial outburst, the weight of exposed secrets hanging between us. Another cover-up, I asked. No, she opened the diary. The reason for all of them. Inside were photographs, receipts, and handwritten entries dating back 30 years. The first entry showed a much younger Georgia, standing beside a man who wasn't her husband. That's Marcus, she said softly. I was 24, married to Richard, and desperately unhappy. Marcus promised to take me away from everything. Let me guess, I said. He didn't. Richard found out, but instead of divorcing me, he gave me a choice. Stay and maintain the perfect family image, or leave with nothing. She turned a page. I stayed, and I taught my sons that image was everything. So that justifies helping them deceive women, hiding money, forging documents. I thought I was protecting them. George's composure cracked. Every time they made a mistake, I remembered how Richard had handled mine. Keep it quiet, pay people off, maintain the image. My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification from Ava. The truth keeps getting worse. Just heard from 3 other women. Warning women, toxic men. I turned the phone toward Georgia. Still think you protected them? She stared at the screen, her perfectly manicured hands trembling. Nathan was supposed to be different. He promised me he'd changed after the incident with Sarah. Sarah? I leaned forward. The one who mysteriously relocated to London. She was pregnant, Georgia whispered. I handled it, like I always did. The door burst open. Damien stormed in, his face red. Mother, what are you doing? Telling the truth, she said. Finally. Are you insane? He grabbed for the diary, but I was faster, sliding it to Olivia, who had quietly entered behind him. Too late, I said. We've seen everything, including the documents about your daughter in Brisbane. Damien's face went white. How did you... Your mother kept very detailed records. I pulled out a copy of a bank statement, including the monthly payments to Amanda and little Sophie. Does your wife know? You can't prove anything, he snarled. Actually, Olivia stepped forward, we can prove everything. Your mother's diary is a goldmine of admissible evidence, bank transfers, signed agreements, even photos of you meeting your daughter, all while claiming you had no children on your tax returns. Georgia stood up suddenly. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Mother, sit down, Damien ordered. No. She straightened her shoulders. For 30 years, I've been covering up everyone's mistakes but my own. Look where it got us. My phone rang. Nathan's face appeared on the screen. Speaker, Olivia mouthed. I answered. Yes? Giselle, please. Nathan's voice was desperate. Ava's talking to reporters. She's going to destroy everything we built. You mean everything you destroyed? I corrected. How's the hostel, by the way? This isn't funny. Mother, are you there? Tell her to stop this. Georgia took a shuddering breath. No, Nathan. I'm done telling people to stop exposing the truth. What? Both Nathan and Damien spoke simultaneously. Your father controlled our family with secrets, Georgia continued. I controlled you the same way, but Giselle, she turned to me, you're braver than I ever was. Damien lunged for my phone, but Olivia stepped between us. Touch anything in this office and I'll have security here in 30 seconds. You're all crazy, he spat. This will ruin us. No, I stood up. Your actions ruined you. I'm just making sure everyone knows why. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a message from Ava. Just got offers from 3 major networks to tell my story. I think they'd be very interested in hearing from you too. I showed it to Georgia, whose face had aged 10 years in the last hour. Still want to protect them? She picked up her diary from Olivia's desk. No, I want to protect the truth. Finally. She turned to her sons, one fuming in my office, one still on the phone. I'm going to tell them everything, every woman you hurt, every lie I covered up, every illegal transaction. Mother! Nathan's voice cracked. You can't! Watch me. She walked to the door, then turned back. Giselle, I'm sorry I wasn't the mother-in-law you deserved, but thank you for being the daughter-in-law this family needed. After she left, Damien stood there, deflated. You think you've won? I smiled, picking up my phone to end the call with Nathan. No, I think the truth has won, and that's so much better. Are you ready? Olivia adjusted my blazer as we stood backstage at the Women's Empowerment Summit. There are at least 500 people out there. Plus the live stream viewers, Olive added, checking her phone. The hashtag such Giselle's speech is already trending. I took a deep breath. Any word from Nathan? Still hiding at Damien's place, Olive smirked. Though after George's interview aired last night, I doubt he'll be welcome there much longer. The interview had been explosive. Georgia, poised and remorseful, had laid bare 30 years of family secrets on national television. The Evans family empire was crumbling, and the aftershocks were still coming. My phone buzzed. A text from Ava. Breaking my silence on Good Morning America tomorrow. Hope you don't mind, but I mentioned how you helped me see the truth. You're an inspiration. 5 minutes, called the stage manager. Olivia squeezed my hand. Remember, you're not just telling your story. You're speaking for every woman who's ever been gaslit, deceived, or made to feel crazy for questioning their reality. Ladies and gentlemen, the announcer's voice boomed, please welcome our keynote speaker Giselle Evans here to discuss Reclaiming Your Narrative from Victim to Victor. The applause was deafening as I walked onto the stage. Hundreds of faces looked back at me, many already recording on their phones. My husband gave me a discount spa voucher for our 5th anniversary, I began. The audience laughed, but there was an understanding in their eyes. It wasn't the worst thing he'd done, but it was the moment I stopped making excuses for him. As I spoke, I saw heads nodding, tears being wiped away, phones being raised to capture key points. Society tells us to be understanding, to keep the peace, to maintain appearances. But at what cost? While I was being the perfect wife, my husband was using our joint accounts to fund luxury vacations with his girlfriend. While I was making excuses for missed anniversaries, his mother was forging documents to hide his affairs. My phone vibrated in my pocket. I knew without looking it would be Nathan. He'd been calling constantly since Georgia's interview. But this isn't just about infidelity, I continued. It's about power, about how silence protects the wrong people, about how keeping the peace often means sacrificing your peace. Suddenly there was a commotion at the back of the hall. Damien was trying to push past security. "Let her speak," someone shouted from the audience. "You ruined everything," Damien yelled. I held up my hand for silence. "No, you ruined everything. I just refuse to help you hide it anymore." Security escorted him out as the audience erupted in applause. "You know what's interesting?" I went on, my voice steady. "When I finally spoke up, other women did too. We discovered we weren't crazy, weren't overreacting, weren't alone. We were just isolated by the same lies." My phone buzzed again. This time it was a news alert. Evans Family Trust under federal investigation following whistleblower revelations. "Ladies," I said, holding up my phone, "this just in. The truth doesn't just set you free, sometimes it brings justice too." The crowd rose to their feet. In the front row I saw Georgia, tears streaming down her face, nodding. After the standing ovation, after the flood of women wanting to share their stories, after the media requests and book offers, I found myself in the green room with Olivia and Olive. "You did it," Olive hugged me. "You actually did it." "We did it," I corrected her. "I couldn't have managed without you both." My phone lit up with a final message from Nathan. "I'm sorry for everything. I never deserved you." "No," I typed back, "you didn't. But I deserved better. And I finally gave that to myself." Olivia cleared her throat. "Speaking of deserving things, the divorce settlement came through. Given the evidence of financial fraud and Georgia's testimony, you're getting everything we asked for. Plus, the publishing deal for your story just tripled their offer." "Perfect timing," I smiled, because I just got invited to speak at women's conferences in London, Sydney and Singapore. "Singapore?" Olive laughed. "Now that's karma." "Actually," I picked up my purse, "that's strategy. Nathan's still stuck there in that hostel, remember? Maybe I'll send him a spa voucher. I hear they're having a special on Monday through Thursday treatments." As we left the venue, women were still sharing my speech on social media, adding their own stories of reclaiming their power. Giselle's speech had evolved into, "Sham, we won't be quiet." "Ready for dinner?" Olive asked. "I know this great place." "The Family Bean," I guessed. She grinned. "Where else would we celebrate bringing down a toxic empire?" "Perfect," I said, linking arms with my sister and best friend. "I think I've earned some real comfort food after all that karma serving." The keys to my new apartment felt right in my hand as I unlocked the door. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a stunning view of the city skyline, a view I'd earned with every calculated move, every exposed lie, every moment of standing my ground. "Last box," Olive announced, dropping it in the living room. "Though I still think you should have kept the house just to spite him." "The house was part of his image," I said, unpacking my favourite coffee mug. "This place is part of mine." My phone chimed with a news alert. Evans Family Enterprises CEO steps down amid scandal. Below was a photo of Nathan, unshaven and haunted-looking, leaving a courthouse. "Have you seen this?" Olivia walked in, waving an envelope. "It was mixed in with your mail." Inside was a handwritten letter and a photo. The photo showed a woman about my age, standing with 3 others in front of a community centre. The letter read, "Dear Giselle, you don't know me, but I was Nathan's wife before you. When I tried to expose his affairs 7 years ago, Georgia paid me to disappear. I used that money to start the First Wives Reset, a support group for women rebuilding their lives after similar betrayals. Your speech inspired us to go public. We're now a national organisation helping women recognise and escape toxic relationships. Thank you for finishing what I couldn't. P.S. We'd love to have you speak at our next retreat. Rebecca. Well, Olive whistled, reading over my shoulder. Looks like you started a movement. Actually, I smiled, Rebecca did. I just amplified it. My phone rang. Georgia. Hello. The federal investigators just left. She sounded tired but resolute. I told them everything about Richard's offshore accounts, Nathan's tax evasion, Damien's hidden assets. How did it feel? I asked. Like putting down a burden I've carried for 30 years. She paused. Nathan's staying with his father now. Richard's furious that I betrayed the family. You didn't betray them, I said. You finally chose truth over image. After hanging up, I walked to the windows. The city sparkled below, full of possibilities. Hey, Olivia called from the kitchen. Look what I found in this box. She held up the spa voucher, the one that had started everything. You kept it? Olive asked incredulously. It's my trophy, I laughed. My reminder that sometimes the smallest insult can lead to the biggest liberation. The doorbell rang. A delivery man held out a package. For Ms. Giselle? Inside was a book. The Silence Breakers, Stories of Women Who Fought Back. My story was chapter 1. Perfect timing, Olivia said, pulling out her tablet, because you'll never guess what's happening on social media. She showed me Ava's latest post, a powerful speech about believing women and challenging toxic behaviour. The comments section was filled with similar stories, each one tagging Chakish, we want to be quiet. You know what's funny, I said, pinning the spa voucher to my new office bulletin board. Nathan thought that voucher would keep me quiet and grateful. Instead, it gave me my voice. Speaking of voice, Olive grinned, Rebecca's retreat isn't the only speaking request you've gotten. There's a whole stack of invitations here. I picked up the pile. Women's organisations, universities, corporate events, all wanting to hear about reclaiming power and demanding truth. Should I accept them? I asked. All of them, Olivia said firmly. Every single one. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Nathan. I'm selling the house. You were right. It was all about image. I never deserved your reality. I didn't respond. Instead, I turned to my sister and best friend. Help me unpack these books. As we worked, sharing stories and laughs, I realised something. Revenge hadn't made me whole. Truth had. Every exposed lie, every woman who spoke up, every secret brought to light had created something bigger than vengeance. Hey, Olive called from the spare room. Where do you want this frame? She held up my speech notes from the Women's Empowerment Summit, professionally mounted. Above my desk, I said, where I can see it every day. The sun was setting, painting the city gold. In its light, I could see my reflection in the window, strong, clear, uncompromised. They thought they clipped my wings, I whispered, touching the glass. Turns out I just needed space to fly. Olive appeared beside me. Ready for your next adventure. I looked at the pile of speaking invitations, the book featuring my story, the growing movement of women finding their voices. Actually, I smiled, I think this is just the beginning.